Well, I've been to the police and I've reported it as an issue. I contacted Northumbria Constabulary yesterday.
Everything you need to know about the trans TV star India Willoughby, including the JK Rowling conflict. The coffee is ready, my darlings. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at that coffee. I just moved the camera. Production value. So, India Willoughby. I am kind of half learning as well. Kind of know who she is, but not like... I was aware of her as an activist, kind of a generation above me. But so we're going to be learning about her today. I know she was very important in the world, and anyone that is transgender in the generation above millennials is so crucial, because they're showing that being transgender is nothing new. I think actually my husband sent me an article that I'm going to cover later about one of the first tribes has just been found to have transgender art or something, or some kind of information there. We all know that we're not new, but people like JK Rowling like to pretend that it's a contagion that we caught after COVID. It's ridiculous. Okay, allegedly, in my opinion. Okay, let's do this. In an article written by Chantal Belson on the 6th of March, we should actually, let me know if you need me to do this in an accent. I'm happy to try. I'm just saying. I'm not saying I'm going to be good at it. I'm saying I'm going to try it. Also, real nails. These are my real nails. They're really growing out. I just had to tell you that. You care. You care, right? I care. You care. Okay. Transgender broadcaster, journalist, former co-host of Loose Women, India Willoughby, has been on the headlines this week due to the high-profile online altercation with Harry Potter writer JK Rowling. JK Rowling misgendered Willoughby and accused her of cosplaying a misogynistic male fantasy of what a woman is in a social media post described by Willoughby as grotesque. I need to find this exact tweet, because anyone that's I think I've got it somewhere else. Anyone that's JK Rowling hasn't done anything overtly transphobic, we've come so far since then. Okay? We've come so far since then. In the original tweet, I think there's somewhere else it shows, it was someone sent JK Rowling's Twitter account, or X, whatever, a video of India. Is her name India? India Willoughby. And said what about this woman, or something like that. We'll see, it will come up eventually. But in response to that, JK Rowling said, with no filter, she's so powered up by all of the TERFs of the nation that at this point she just says what she thinks. The mask is off at this point. You've sent me the wrong video. There isn't a lady in this one. Just a man reveling in his misogynistic performance of what he thinks women means. Narcissistic, shallow, and exhibitionalist. Who the actual F are you? Step the hell down. You haven't written a decent book in generations, arguably at all. No one cares what you think. You are outdated. Your mindset is misguided, misinformed, and quite frankly, we wish you'd taken the mask off before you made all the money. That's all I'm saying. Really. I'm just saying. Because this transphobia was not accepted back when you were in your heyday. It never has been, and it never should have been. Absolutely disgusting. How they have to also, have we noticed, they've had to move the mark? Because it used to be, we can always tell. That was what they used to say. We can always tell someone that's trans because they don't transition well enough and all that rubbish. But then they started to realise, actually, some of us can do winged eyeliner better than you can. And so now they're moving the goalpost to, if someone is a trans person that passes, that looks the same as cis people, arguably, that's difficult wording, but we'll get into that. They have pushed the goalpost to be you're not a real woman. You're just a man trying to be what you think women are. And that's misogynistic. Which, by the way, the misogyny is the call coming from inside the room, because a lot of the transphobic talking points are that, if you don't have a womb, you're not a real woman, which is very much adjacent to women are just baby making machines, which is very misogynistic and stuff like that. So the irony there is palpable, but they've moved it now to if you look too sexy, if you look too good or passing or whatever, that you are perpetuating this misogynistic idea of what a woman looks like. which is just, it's just kind of showing that they're trying to make up these ideas. They don't really believe them. Even the, like, if someone digs up your bones in 100 years myth has been debuffed. There's this really cool archaeologist channel I follow. He's so cool. He's like kind of left leaning, but he's actually said, like, I studied archaeology. You would find bones and have a scale of like likely feminine, probably male, likely male, and numbers in between. So he was like, you can only ever say likely one. You would never know 100%. So let's debuff that. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna say that one day on a live stream years ago, well, months ago. But that day was today, and I feel like there is no better day than today to debunk transphobia. So anyway, so we've come a long way since JK Rowling tried to like hint at some things and tried to subtly say, I mean, wear what you want, love who you love, but just don't say like sex isn't real, okay? I'm not transphobic. I have a trans friend. How can I be transphobic? Also, Dumbledore was gay. I'm just saying, maybe gender's real. To full on, like, that's not a woman, that's a man. Like, I mean, that's transphobic. Anyone that isn't convinced, stop playing Hogwarts and pay attention, okay? I'm just saying. I'm getting irate. I haven't even started. Okay. So, maybe now is a good time to go through everything she has done. Should we see that? Okay. So, the lovely co-founder of this channel at this point, in my Discord, provided me with a list so far, which I think other people have kept, like public information. So this is an entire list of everything that JK Rowling has done. I'm going to go for it one by one. Maybe I'll do it like a song. Shall I try and like spit bars? Shall I try and like rap it? No, I might get myself completely just destroyed online. Okay. 1. Publicly mock trans-inclusive language. 2. Claim the existence of trans women is an attempt to erase women. 3. Promoted a store selling anti-trans merch such as F your pronouns and trans women are men pins. Oh. 4. Publicly stated support for Maya Forstater, who lost her job after harassing a trans co-worker. I'm gonna die. This is so cringe. I need to stop. 5. I can't now. I'm on the beat. Do you know what I mean? Every number is a new musical possibility. 5. Her anti-trans essay Turf Wars was cited in blocking the US equality laws. I mean, that rhymed itself. I can't make that. I can't not make that rhyme. Okay? I can't not come across with the musical talent. 6. Has repeatedly insinuated that trans women are criminals who will use women's faces to assault girls. 7. Wrote a book about a man who dressed as a woman to get away with crimes. 8. Publicly states oppression of to trans rights legislation. And 9. Created a cis-only support center. I did a video essay about that entire thing, so check it out if you want to. 10. Tweeted Merry Turfmas. 11. Wore a t-shirt with KJ Keane attacking Nicola Sturgeon for being a trans ally. 12. Has never once distanced herself from any of the TERFs who quitted her. 13. Wrote a second book about a stand-in for herself being murdered by a trans right activist. Sounds like a fetish, honey. 14. Has met and been photographed with a group of TERFs that declare all transsexuals RAP women's bodies. Oh, it's not fun. Oh, gross. 15. Publicly praised Matt Walsh for his movie. I mean, if you get that far, how far do you need to be in life? Like, if you're not a TERF by that point, who is? What is a woman? 16. Referred to trans women as men in dresses. 17. Referred to trans women as penis individuals. Anna Kasparian wouldn't like that non-gendered speech, okay? So just back down. 18. Unfollowed Stephen King when he wrote that trans women are women. 19. Compared trans women to the Death Eaters. And so 20, we can add openly misgendered India Willoughby for being transgender. There you go. That was the JK rap. That was so cringe. I'm so sorry that I had to put you all through that, but I know some of you are loving it at home. I know you are. Back to the... We've only gone through like one article, one paragraph. Did we even read the first one? I don't think we did. Okay. JK Rowling misgendered Willoughby and accused her of cosplaying a misogynistic male fantasy of what a woman is in a social media post described by Willoughby as grotesque. The Harry Potter author has faced repeated backlash in recent years because of her comments on the trans community, even saying she'd happily do 2 years in jail instead of using a trans person's pronouns. We should probably put that on the list, actually. John Guy says, you can always tell when she's had a strong coffee. Tea. But there is certainly much more to the trailblazing broadcaster than just her recent clash with Rowling. She's been fighting the cause of trans rights publicly for many years, even receiving at times due to her refusal to back down or stop being vocal about the key issues facing the transgender community. An amazing advocate. We're going to get into that now. Here's everything you need to know about India Willoughby. This is a great article, obviously, by Pink News, so let's get into it. Britain's first transgender national television newsreader. I mean, that's a huge feat in itself. India Willoughby presented the news in the North East and Cumbria as a TV reporter at ITV Border, before she came out as transgender woman and transitioned. Oh, so she transitioned publicly, bless her. She left that job after 10 years of presenting the show, but 5 years later, she rejoined as India, following her gender reassignment surgery. In 2017, she joined 5 News on Channel 5, becoming Britain's first transgender national television newsreader. The same year, Willoughby was invited onto ITV daytime chat show Loose Women to tell her story as a guest, but due to the public's positive response to her appearance, she was invited back as a co-host. Look at that difference in public perception. For anyone that doesn't know, the program Loose Women is just always hosted by female presenting people and always has been. So way back when, she went on Loose Women as a guest, and I'm reading this from here now, and we was invited back on as a co-host. This is what I mean about how the transphobic anti-trans movement at the moment is just a complete outline, because like, it didn't used to be this bad. It really didn't. And so for a trans woman to just be invited back on a very like female focused show, and there be no, I imagine, I don't know for sure, but like for it to have happened at least, it just says how it used to be even just a few years ago. In January 2018, she took part in Celebrity Big Brother, but received online hate and backlash due to her appearance. Sad. She was the first person evicted on the 11th day of the programme. Oh, I think I vaguely remember that. That's really sad. See? The transphobia began. Nominations for her Woman of the Year. In 2023, broadcaster and trans activist India Willoughby made history by becoming the first trans woman of the year nominee. In July, Willoughby was nominated for the accolade of her campaign work by a panel of women, but said she was unable to announce the honour due to a threat made earlier in the year against her safety. Oh my goodness me. A threat which has been investigated by the Met Police was allegedly delivered to her home by the neo-Nazi group National Action in May 2023. I hope that accountability has been made, because that is terrible. Women of the Year, a non-profit organisation which held its first event in 1955, aims to recognise, celebrate and advocate the achievements of women in the UK and around the world. The TV personality was the first trans woman to co-host an all-woman talk show, Loose Women, announced her nomination on X or Twitter in October. Bless her. Like, it's just ridiculous the amount of hate these people get. Question time appearance. I remember this. I wonder if we can see it. I wonder if we can just watch it. In February 2023, last year, India Willoughby appeared on the BBC's Question Time programme as a panellist, and she faced extreme hostility. I remember this. Oh, I think I covered it. So this is how brazen the hate for trans people has become. Someone in the audience speaking to her said, "You can't change sex. Why does society have to change when there's not many trans around? What on earth?" Under of these how people are. Let's see if we can see it.
On their head to say whether they're predatory or not. The same as a man.
How do you know by looking at a man if he's predatory or not?
Would you say
don't
that
know.
about a lesbian, for instance? That a predatory lesbian, and you would want to check their history? Because what you've just said there, effectively, is that trans women are men and should be treated as
in my
men.
opinion, they still are men.
So I would go in a male jail, looking as I do, and just take my chances. And what, that would be my fault for looking like this?
Well, in my opinion, you can't change sex. That's my opinion. You can't change sex. You can live your life how you like, and I wish you no harm. But you can't biologically change sex.
You know, I'm biological. I'm a woman. I didn't choose to be trans. This is how I was born. All I've done is align my body with how I feel, so I have a reasonable life. And most trans people, as I say, there's hardly any of us around anyway. We lead normal lives. You're actually talking about 4 trans prisoners in a female
Excuse me, if there's hardly any of
estate.
you around, why do I have to change?
Why do what, sorry?
Why does society have to change?
Because we're a civilised society, and you do change. I could have heard this conversation in the 1970s about black people, or in the 1980s about gay people, saying, why do I have to change? Why do I have to temper my language? This type of thing. It's the same thing as being harassed.
Who was that woman after? Just started speaking. Oh my god. The saddest part to me is the claps, the ripple of applause. Yeah, like someone just said, it's so sad to see that statement is now the confidence to say it so brazenly, and also to people to back it up and clap. That's like unacceptable. The rebuttal of like, why should we change society for a small number of people is also, I mean, that's just such a harmful way of thinking, and it comes from such a place of privilege, in that we should be perpetually trying to improve society for all of the minorities, for anyone, and majorities as well that might be going for a problem. If there is a problem in society, i.e. transphobia, then we should be aiming to fix it. That's just as clear as day. And if you at any point find yourself thinking that problem doesn't need fixing, think maybe that's because that problem doesn't affect you, and that's exactly what privilege is. So if someone comes to you with a problem that doesn't affect you immediately, then that's not really a reason that it doesn't need solving. Anyway, quitting GB News in June 2021. Oh wait, so that was, when was that? 2023. So this is 2 years before this. India Willoughby dramatically quit as a commentator on GB News. Wait, hold on. Why was she on GB News? Is she like right wing then? T. Maybe we don't stand her. Maybe we don't stand her. Oh gosh. Why was she on GB News? GB News, for anyone contextually wanting to know, is a very like right-wing, old-fashioned, let's say, article. Why was she on it then? Oh gosh. Oh, she has right-wing views. Oh no. Obviously that doesn't make anything that happened to her a problem. Doesn't make it okay. Anyway, India Willoughby dramatically quit as a commentator on GB News, accusing the news channel of demonizing trans people at every opportunity. Well, yeah, I didn't know that either. Paul Hammond, I'm finding this out as we go. The tea. Obviously, the transphobia is not okay, but it's a bit of a different, not exactly her best friend now. Willoughby had originally agreed to appear on the controversial news channel GB News as a commentator, appearing weekly on the panel of Tonight Live with Dan Wooten on Sunday nights. As a patriotic person with right-of-centre political views, she told Pink News, I was really looking forward to doing it. Thought it was going to be a breath of fresh air. I like debates. But the reality was not what she expected. It's a monster, she said. It's an absolute nightmare for people like me. It's opened the gates of hell. Well, honey, I mean, what did you expect? That's privilege as well, isn't it? Really? Let's call it what it is. If you think you could go on GB News and not be berated, you must feel that you have some form of privilege. Oh, God. Oh. Everyone in chat. Sorry, I just clipped. Everyone in chat is feeling the vibe that I am putting down. People saying British Caitlyn Jenner. Oh my goodness. I mean, obviously, we're still going to cover this in the same way, but I didn't know she... Everyone is like, well... It doesn't surprise me though. I do know someone else. I won't name their name. I know someone else of that generation who is also a trans woman who I met like way before. But we were like around her house for like wine and drinks. It was like a whole group of trans women. And she just openly was like, yeah, like being trans isn't like those gays. Gays, you can choose not to be gay. You can't choose not to be trans. I was like, excuse me? Sorry? Do you want to explain that one? And I was like the only one in the room that was like, well, no, I don't agree there. None of us can choose it. Also, surely we should be more understanding of other minorities. And she looked at me like, how dare you have the audacity to speak back at me at my wine party? And I was like, I'm going to take this wine and leave. So people of that generation, unfortunately, we can't. I forget that like not everyone is left leaning. That's sad. Okay, so we're not really loving India as a political figure. Let's remember that. Yes, people are quite rightly saying, I never thought the leopards would eat my face. I'm sorry, who goes on GB News as anyone that isn't someone that would go on GB News and expect to not get like, oh, gross. A Harry Potter author responded, misgendering Willoughby. India didn't become a woman. India is cosplaying as a misogynistic male fantasy of what a woman is. Let's remember the process of legally transitioning, medically transitioning. There are so many actual foolproof ways in which we transition. And I just have to say that. Not that they're necessary, not that lacking in them makes you any less of a trans person or a person, of course, or the gender that you identify. But what I'm saying is, the TERFs are trying to literally roll back what we already have in society. Some of the anti-trans bills in the US are literally trying to roll back progress that's legally made. I am legally female, even in the UK. I jumped through the TERF hoops and I have on my birth certificate assigned female at birth. I have F, the F mark. F-U, JK Rowling. I am legally female. So even if I were to get arrested, which I hope never happens, in the UK, I would still be put in a female prison, I believe. I was going to say hopefully. Hopefully no one's going to prison. But so even their ideology that that's not possible is misguided. It's just not true. Which we all know, but like there's such a like a group mentality that this is all what they believe, that they're forgetting that legally that's not the case, let alone obviously science, more than basic biology. Anyone that speaks to a medical professional will tell you about all of this, but legally as well, we have got rights, luckily in the West, even though they're being attacked, which is why we have to really like fight back. This is why it's so important. It's not just something happening in the news, it's actually an attack on progress that's been legally made. Generally disgusted by this grotesque transphobia, which is upsetting. I'm every bit as much a woman as JK Rowling, recognised in law and by everyone I interact with every day. The debate about whether JK Rowling is a transphobe is over. I mean, I agree there, unfortunately. So what else as an update can we see? Misgendering, so in a quote by Savan Kadir, misgendering India Willoughby is one of the most disgusting and disturbing comments by JK. She is a woman under the UK law, which if you don't respect her, you must respect the law at the very least. Solidarity here. Again, problematic with like the law side of it being a definition. Don't worry, I'm there. I get that. But that's the goalpost that even TERFs in the UK now are trying to push. That like the law doesn't matter. Which like, okay, how far do we go? What would you say if someone broke the law that affected you, JK Rowling? What would you say if your laws of safety, of protection, of your human rights were taken away? Would you have the same stance? No, of course not. Because you're a privileged white lady living in a castle in Scotland who wrote a book once. Get over yourself. So what else as an update can we see? Misgendering, so in a quote by Savan Kadir, misgendering India Willoughby is one of the most Oh, okay, but sis is... Are you serious, young lady? Are you serious? Irate. I'm going to get irate. This comes from the woman that said cis is a slur. She's now saying that calling India a man is not a slur. For someone that writes books, you'd think she'd understand context a bit better, wouldn't you? It explains a lot, actually, about her narrative structure, but whatever. In response to the backlash, she doubled down. Man is not a slur, she wrote. I know a lot of you think that the UN should intervene whenever women bruise your egos, but there is no human right to universal validation. What on earth does that... If you have to speak in such metaphysical abstracts to get your point across, you're either not trying to say your real point or you're talking out of your... woman. Accurately sexing trans-identified men. She sounds like a bad chat GPT. Like, didn't quite understand the assignment. Who send misogynistic abuse to women is not discrimination. Man is not a slur. I know a lot of you think, she's going crazy. I think that there must not be any gardens in the castle she lives in, because she needs to really go out and touch it. Like, she needs to go for a walk around the grounds, girl. JK Rowling posted another statement regarding India Willoughby using masculine pronouns when referring to her and calling the trans broadcaster a man. See, this is the thing. She's been surrounded by so many like-minded TERFs for so long now that she has become actually more brazen, to the point that she's forgetting that she's not actually in line with the law in the UK. That's like saying a lot. That's saying quite a lot. If you've flown off that far, goodness gracious me. JK Rowling responds after being reported to police over misgendering broadcasters. Okay, so the clapback was A-class, I'm not going to lie, because we do have laws. We still have discrimination laws, technically. And so the issue here is that the discrimination laws that are in place are being attacked again by the Tories in the UK government through various things, in my opinion, allegedly, like taking away being transgender as a protected characteristic in the kind of grouped things that are something you can't discriminate about. And it all comes down to the, what's it called? The, it's like the human rights thing or something like that. Again, I will probably link my video essay in on it later in the stream for people to jump onto if they want to watch that next. It's kind of old now, but like, hey, I was blonde. It's like a retro little look. It'll whet the palette for video essays to come. I was quite proud of it though. JK Rowling responds after being reported to the police. So this is the thing. These people have lost connection to reality so much that they're forgetting what they're doing is technically report to the policeable. So 13 hours ago from the point that I opened the tab, so probably about a day ago now, India Willoughby claimed JK Rowling has definitely committed a crime. JK Rowling has said the police are going to be very busy amid accusations she misgendered a broadcaster. In an interview with Beeline TV, India Willoughby, 58, trans woman and broadcaster, told journalist Colin Robertson that she had reported the Harry Potter author to the police for calling her a man. Following the release of the filmed interview, which we have, don't worry, we have it, Rowling, 58, are they both the same age? Oh, they should just be friends. I bet they're in the same school or something. Said that Willoughby appeared to have forgotten the Forstater ruling, which established that gender critical views can be protected in law. Mayor Forstater successfully brought a case to the Employment Appeal Tribunal, EAT, to establish that gender critical views are a protected philosophical belief under the Equality Act 2010 and 2021. Hold on a second. So this is what I was talking about. The Equality Act 2010, it means that gender identity is a protected characteristic. But now we're seeing that gender critical views are a protected philosophical belief. Oh my goodness. Rowling, I don't know why I just did a Yoda. Rowling later reposted a clip of Robertson in which he said he had contacted the author for an interview as well. She accused the journalist of calling Willoughby him twice in the interview. The captions refer to Willoughby as them, and Robertson has refuted Rowling's claims. Why is she calling him out for misgendering her? What the hell? Oh, it's like an attack of the Karens. It's like Karen on Karen. Someone said it in the chat. Feisty geisty. I love it. Love it. This is tea. In the interview with Byline TV, Willoughby said of the posts, JK Rowling has definitely committed a crime. I am legally a woman, She knows I'm a woman and she calls me a man. It's a protected characteristic. And that is in breach of both the Equality Act and the Gender Recognition Act. She's tweeted that out to 14 million followers. And exactly, and let's just make that clear. Like, it's not like she said it at a bus stop and then went about her day. She's perpetuating that transphobic and that hate crime out to millions of people. And there is a backlash that we really we need to take seriously in society more. Again, I did another video essay about platform responsibility. And it's like, we need to deal with them differently. It's absolutely more hate and sad times. So watch Jen, I did some gifted subs earlier in the stream, and I think you were one of the lucky ones if you're asking why you have a gifted sub. I get to give out free ones every month, and I do it because I can't do much else. Okay, so what happened? The police and the Crown Prosecution Service. Oh, okay. Ooh, see, there are updates. The police and the Crown Prosecution Service, CPS, have both agreed the definition for identifying hate crimes includes a criminal offence that is perceived by the victim or another to be motivated by hostility or prejudice based on a person's transgender identity or perceived transgender identity. Willoughby added, well, I've been to the police and I reported it as an issue. I contacted Northumbria Constabulary yesterday. I have reported JK Rowling to the police for what she said. She added, I don't know if it's going to be treated as a hate crime, malicious communications, but it's a cut and dry offence as far as I'm concerned. This comes at a time, well, this comes a few months after a time when JK Rowling said, I will happily go to prison to misgender someone. I would laugh if we saw a realisation of that. I don't think it's a prisonable offence, but wouldn't that be poetic irony, which she should know about because she did writing of some of them books. Please consider liking, subscribing. I have a Patreon if you want to support the channel. I do news every week. I do commentary every month. And I do video essays every season.
JK Rowling took it upon herself to introduce my name into a conversation, calling me a man, calling me he, him.
It seems like the level of transphobia that's being spouted by people like her is completely acceptable on the internet. How has that happened?
It's been the perfect storm. It's been fomented by a culture wars government and British media, I'm sorry to say, the bulk of which now is right-wing, and trans people are completely locked out of this. There are something like 1,000 articles per month in the UK alone on people like me. We're literally 0.2% of the population, which is...
Not that shot. What on earth is happening? Sorry, I can't say much about lighting and production value, but what on earth is this happening right now? But whilst I obviously agree with everything she's saying, and it is the media, the same thing is happening in several other countries. The spotlight is being given, the microphone is being given to TERFs, to transphobic people, because they have, I don't know, money, they have the power, whatever. But then she did, like, literally reach out on GB News. And so, just a part of me is like, is it okay when you're perpetuating things that you find okay to say, even if they're right-leaning? I don't know.
Now, I would class her as an extremist. And whether she has done it deliberately or it's accidental just through her status as having 14 million followers and being the most famous author in the world, her words carry great importance. Now, up to now, JK Rowling has been given the benefit of the doubt by people. I think most people that aren't involved with this subject, they hear from the mainstream media that, oh, all JK Rowling is doing is fighting for women's rights.
I get what she's saying. But also, if you've come this far and you're still slightly on the fence about whether JK Rowling is transphobic or not, you've either not been paying full attention or you don't fundamentally believe trans women are women. Like, you can't get this far and be like, maybe she's just... No, like, come on. We read the list. Don't make me get the list out. Everyone is laughing at this cameraman. Yeah, totally. Camera person. We don't know their gender. It's hard to explain, but like, I don't even wish this hate on the people doing this. I don't wish this hate on JK Rowling herself. I don't wish any of this back at her. I don't wish this on the TERFs. I wish them education. I wish they did maybe more than basic biology at school. I wish they didn't have a very biased, one-sided upbringing, that they had that education that taught them that trans people are a problem. You know what I mean? Like, we can beat the system of just fighting each other. We can be better than that. We can wish for better than that. We can wish for a re-education, a better understanding. Why do we need to just not like each other? Like, there is generally no reason other than jealousy, misinformation, and misguided belief that you are superior. If literally that, tell me why there is any other reason why there is hate in the world. If you are in the mindset and the worldview that there is a hierarchy of people, that some people are better than other people, some people are more valid than other people, then that's what perpetuates hatred, because it comes from jealousy or whatever like that. But like, if JK Rowling was to perceive India Willoughby as a trans woman and her equal, this wouldn't happen. Obviously she doesn't. I know that sounds kind of obvious, but like, again, the issues of racism, systematic anti-Semitism, misogyny, like all of these things come from the fact that people innately believe there is a hierarchy in society when there isn't. It's a perpetuated myth to keep people at the top. And I'm sick of it.
What am I going to do about it? Well, I've been to the police and I've reported it as an issue. I contacted Northumbria Constabulary yesterday.
So you reported JK Rowling
I have
to the
reported
police?
JK Rowling to the police for what she said, which
I mean,
I don't know if that's going to be treated as a hate crime, malicious communications, but it's a cut and dried offence as far as I'm concerned.
One of the things I saw in my research for the videos I'm working on, it was something like 99% of trans people on social media have experienced some form of negative comment or hate crime. 99%. How insane is that? How insane is that? Very serious though. And so, yeah, good luck to you, India. Can't believe you were on GB News though. Shocking. Fallen hero. No, we don't know the facts about like what she said on there or what she stood for, but just that alone does give some context. She says herself she's centre right, but obviously what she's going through is very sad. We saw the same backlash from JK Rowling focusing a tweet on someone with Jessie gender. Bless Jessie. I mean, anyone going through that, it cannot be easy. Obviously, that must be horrendously difficult to experience. Please do consider subscribing. And if you have got the budget, if you have got like a couple £1 a month or a few dollars, please do consider joining as a patron. It is more about the emotional support that it gives me. But obviously, no pressure to anyone that can't do that. Obviously, that is completely valid. Like, we don't have much budget for that kind of thing on our side, so I completely understand what it's like. So no pressure at all. If you have, I know some people have like $20 a month that they put for small creators and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, consider if people have the budget, please do consider me. But no pressure, no worries if not. Probably the biggest, best thing you can do is sharing my videos, watching them in full, and commenting a big old paragraph with what you thought. It also helps me know that people are enjoying it and watching it.